take your time, introduce yourself, let me know who you are, and then ask the question. Go ahead.
Hey guys.
Hey Coach.
Hi. Man, Josh won't even let me get a water break for crying out loud. Drive a hard ship over here.
You want me to get you a water, Coach?
I think he's going to grab one. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Rock and fire.
You got it.
Coach, Joe Gaither, BamaCentral.com. I'm just curious, you've got Damani Jackson and you got Jaleel Hurley as basically your only guys with real college experience in the corner room. Well, how do you feel about the corner room, and how do you feel about the freshmen who are who have come in early enrolled?
Well, you know, I think I mentioned the other day, experience is finite, right? And those are things that that you have to go through reps. You got to see live reps, you got to see live work in order to understand how to adjust moving forward. The good thing is, you know, Damani Jackson has played, right? He's gotten reps. Thank you very much. On top of that, you know, Jaleel Hurley has been here. He's been in the system, all those things. But these freshmen are going against an offense that has a lot of volume. We have a lot of things in right now, and so they're able to see a lot of different pictures, formation shifts, all those things. And so they're rapidly, you can see these guys getting better by the day. On top of that, they're a very talented group, and so I'm excited about our freshman DBs right now.
Hey, raise your hand on questions so I can play. Tony.
Tony Sakalas, Title Illustrated. Speaking on that, a couple of the freshmen, you got Red Morgan, who comes from a big Alabama school, and then you've got Xavier Brown, who comes from a big school as well. Does that help in terms of maybe coming from a bigger level of play in high school? Does that ease the transition a lot?
I would think that it would help, you know what I mean? Obviously, you know, there's a different level of you know, in the SEC of what the environments that you have to play in front of. But these young men come here to Alabama with very high expectations. They've had high expectations their whole lives. They come here to compete against the best. And so I don't think whether you're 18 years old or whether you're 36 years old, right, hopefully we all have enough wisdom to know what we're choosing to come compete in, and competing against the best in the country, and you better be ready for that.
Matt.
Matt Stahl, AL.com. Is there anybody on this defense that you may have tried to recruit at South but didn't work out there? You get the chance to coach them now?
All of them. Every single one of them we would have taken at South. No, you know, I think, you know, you had guys that we recruited Mobile very heavy. You know, Deontay Lawson was already here right as I was coming in at South Alabama. Would have certainly loved to have had him. There's too many to count in that regard, but you know, that's a special thing. I think Coach Saban has did a tremendous job of recruiting this state. I think Coach DeBoer has made it a priority. I think we've seen those things already in terms of getting some of the best young men from this state, and that's why we've had great success on top of plenty of other things that you can point to. But I think when you have young men that are from this state, that grew up here, that understand the rivalries that we play in, that understand what Alabama football means to the state of Alabama, those things matter, and you want somebody that represents one of those 11 bodies on the field, you know, week in and week out.
Hey, Coach Wommack.
Hold on. Raise your hand for me, Alex.
Alex Garber, Bama 247. Just your early appraisal of Devontae Smith and where he might fit into defense.
Well, I think Smitty has a really good skill set. Obviously, you know, I know from a standpoint of he has been injured, right? He's kind of gone through some of those, you know, rehab process. He's done a really great job of that. Jeff Allen and his staff have done a tremendous job of getting him back. I'm excited about Smitty. I mean, I think, you know, he can cover. He's a big frame, 200 plus pounds, right? He's shown some physicality as we've started to put the pads on, and I think he can process and analyze and make checks and adjustments. So that Husky position is so critical to what we do, because we ask a lot out of that player. You know, to cover man-to-man, to blitz off the edge, to play zone coverage, to sometimes fit down in the box. We're asking quite a bit, and so it needs a very versatile skill set, and I think Smitty has that.
Mike, over here.
Mike Rodak, Bama 247. What have you seen out of Keanu on the edge, and just what you're looking at?
Keanu Coat?
Yeah.
I've been really pleased with Keanu Coat. I think you know, athletically, I think he's a freak. I think he does some things, the way he can bend off an edge, his explosive ability. He plays with an extremely high motor right now, and he is grasping what we are doing from a schematic standpoint. You see everybody's making mistakes, but you see guys correct things from one day to the next, and if he can continue to do that, I really like his trajectory right now.
Coach Smook of Bama football. Coach Smook of Bama football on YouTube. Defensive line depth. We got a lot of highly talented talent in that room. What's your confidence level in that group, and what is the plan going forward as far as using that depth?
Well, I think Freddie Roach has done a phenomenal job with this group. I really do. I mean, we're very talented, from older guys to younger guys. I think there's a lot of depth. I think there's a lot of guys that play with a very high motor, play with physicality. We're getting better and better at some of the techniques and things that we're doing schematically that might be just a little bit different up front. And I think the guys have really leaned into that. You see some of these younger guys that are taking some big steps forward. I think the future is bright with our defensive line unit.
Two more, Katie.
Over here, Kane Wommack. The other day during the media viewing period, just a little bit we get to see. At one point I saw you with the inside linebacker with Deontay Lawson. You stopped the drill, told him something, ran over. Just kind of what's your approach? Obviously he's a super experienced guy. With practice with you being the new guy here and being kind of hands-on with the guys and showing them techniques and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think every person, right, coaches, players included, we can all get better, right? So whether they're a young freshman on the field or a veteran player out there, right, you're always going to challenge them to become the best version of themselves, and the best version of ourselves should be the next rep, right, and striving to do those things. You know, I'm hands-on with those backers, right? I like to show those things and you know, physically kind of get in there with them and all that stuff. You know, I always tell them they're not going to do it as athletic as I make it look, right? But you know, they can certainly try. But I think Deontay, what is neat about working with him, especially one-on-one, is you can show him something and he can take a mental picture of it. You can verbalize it to him, and then he can carry that on the field and execute. He is a really tremendous player in terms of being able to analyze in real time, and then you know, he makes everybody else around him better for that. That dude has a very, very bright future.
We're finishing over here.
Wyatt Fulton, Ty 100.9. What have you seen from your safety room, maybe guys like Keon Sabb and Malachi Moore?
Yeah, very pleased with their ability to process and analyze. I think if you look up the middle of our defense, there's a lot of experience, and those are the guys that have to communicate everything on the way out. So from the interior D-line to the linebackers to those two safeties, you see our ones, there's not a whole lot of busts right now. Those guys are able to communicate and get things executed. But from an athleticism standpoint, I think they can cover man-to-man. They've got great spatial awareness in their zone coverages. They're making plays on the ball. And again, we talk about that vision coverage. You see those guys starting to get closer and closer to making plays on the ball, and that's the evolution of what this defense has been able to brought. They'll look, you know, they look good right now. They'll look a little better at the end of spring. They'll look a little better in the summertime and fall camp. And by the time we get to August 31st, right, you got a lot of guys that are breaking on the ball at a high level.
All right, Kane, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.